Greetings. We are Sirius. We continue the story of our civilization. And so, how many souls from Sirius are embodied on Earth now? I'll tell you, quite a few. The Sirians actively colonized the solar system when it was still in the fifth dimension. Representatives of Sirius are among the most widespread civilizations on Earth, who arrived from nearby stars. What tasks are entrusted to such souls? Yes, the same as for any soul in the universe: evolution. Among the many ordinary people of the Earth, sleeping and waking up, there are many former Sirians. And what, you say, that these people carry some kind of exceptional mission and special tasks? I understand, dear ones, that you want to be chosen and special. But the reality is often such that there is no chosenness, but there are only diligent souls and there are lazy ones. Everything is measured by work and readiness to change oneself, discarding the old. We, the higher powers, would like you all to be chosen ones, and you would choose yourselves as servants of the idea of goodness and justice. If you would stubbornly bring good to the whole world and actively become nicer, more decent and more reasonable, you won't move. And that's wrong. The motivation to create life must come from within. How can you define a typical Sirian in your world by appearance and occupation? Yes, the Sirian genes have dissolved in the genes of other civilizations that arrived Earth. For many millennia you have not conceived children, only with representatives of native civilizations. After all, so you mixed blood. Genetically pure births are no longer anywhere on Earth, and therefore you are pure-blooded Sirians. You won't find it anywhere. However, you can notice our gene both in yourself and in other people, remembering how we look. Blue eyes, dark hair and occasionally blonde. This is our typical appearance, despite the fact that we have almost all varieties in the color of eyes and hair. We also have a predominantly elongated face and a high forehead, directed to the sky, like our thoughts. Moreover, I should note that representatives of other civilizations have a similar appearance, like ours, who also populated the Earth. Although they have their own main genetic groups, which may be very or slightly different from us. This complicates the task. Our genes or the genes of other civilizations are manifested in your DNA, and therefore in appearance. But I'm giving you general guidelines here. By what kind of activity can you figure out the former Sirian? Our star belongs to the blue ray, and this leaves a corresponding imprint on the soul. So the Sirian loves to chat about the eternal. But this is not a criterion either. By such criteria as appearance and occupation, it is hardly possible to accurately determine in which civilization the soul lived. However, there is a certain clue in this. Tell me, everyone on Earth is the same. The Earth is a blue beam, the Sun is a yellow beam H. So who should the Earthlings be then? A bluish-yellow ray. Also, the Sirians are all completely different souls. Civilizations are not made up of identical souls. And how then to judge a person, whether he is from Sirius or not, if in Sirius there is the same variety of characters as on Earth? The representatives of the blue ray themselves are not the majority among us. It's just that each soul is a rainbow, and not just one color. And in this rainbow our representatives of different rays have a considerable amount of blue. This is worth recognizing. But you don't need to blindly apply these indicators. It's better to ask your higher self where you are from than to measure yourself with general patterns that you may not fall under. When you ascend into the fourth dimension, you will, of course, be the same high, like the Sirians of the fourth dimension. This is a natural process. Uniform laws work in the universe. But will you consider yourself high? Hardly. After all, everything is known in comparison. If those around you people about the same height as you, then you will not consider yourself giants even if all of you are 1 kilometer tall. But if you compare yourself with other inhabitants of the universe from different dimensions, you can feel how big you have become. However, 3 meters in height, this is a little compared to the size of your planet, which will be more voluminous in the fourth dimension for the same reason that you will be taller. If you want to feel truly gigantic, Realize oneness with all that exists. Become the universe. Enlarge your subtle bodies and thinking to the size of the whole universe. Realize the absolute in yourself. Remove personality and bragging by simply dissolving in the ocean of infinity, becoming this ocean, and then you will feel the grandeur of yourself, which includes all other selves universe. And in such a state of consciousness, you will not perceive your small personality, separated from the common pie of existence. This personality is just a piece of the whole that you have become. Therefore, pride will not grow in you. After all, pride is the exaltation of the small. And if you are simply everything, then you do not increase your small self, but attach it to all the other selves in order to be a single huge universal organism of light. Be one. Indeed so. How we help you? We help you spiritually and vibrationally. We, along with the gods of light, introduce you to the spiritual world. Through the genetics transmitted to you from us, we are trying to influence you and your thinking, the process of transmutation of your bodies into new forms that will help make you more conscious and happier. Like always has a better effect on like than different and different. Therefore, our genome resonates with the genome of some of you, as a result of which additional energy is released, which enhances our influence on you. Angels are people of the fifth dimension, and there are many such people in Sirius. They are trained to serve all things, watching the souls of the third and even the fourth dimension. A considerable number of your guardian angels are our compatriots, Sirians. They are able to remotely monitor and help you without leaving their star. However, they often fly to you on a business trip to work with you more closely. Yes, basically, angels watch over souls' third measures of our star. We also have someone to follow in Sirius. We even have many more souls embodied in the physical dimension than on Earth, since we have many three-dimensional planets that have retained life on themselves. But we do not leave our own. A noticeable part of humanity is our former fellow citizens and brothers. And the angels, Sirians of the fifth dimension, follow you on their own initiative and help. Representatives of other civilizations, who, like us, colonize the solar system. At the same time, we help you cope with various environmental, natural and man-made disasters. We are trying to smooth out their destructive influence to the maximum with the help of our ships and special installations in them. A strong influence on your dimensionality, and then they decompress again, continuing to ply the earth in a state invisible to you. After all, you are not able to see our subtle material ships with physical vision, and, of course, we help you through giving messages received by different contactees of the earth. And you can notice that in essence the messages from the ascended masters and friendly civilizations are identical. Together we carry a charge of positive energies. We are luminous. You surely feel that you are being given messages of essence from another dimensions. And this is an indicator that not three-dimensional beings are speaking to you, but beings of light, like angels and other beings of love. So we are angels, and even gods, given that our civilizations live on different levels of multidimensionality. But you perceive us as alien civilizations, and you immediately see flying saucers and super advanced technologies in your head, but you associate angels with beings, holding a shield and a sword in their hands, dressed in armor and flying back and forth. This image was formed in you because of your religions and the eras in which they reigned. You applied the images of your world in relation to the images of angels. And angels have both spaceships and technology, and most of them live on other planets, in stars and galaxies. These are just civilizations of souls ascended to higher dimensions. And you will become angels when you collectively ascend to higher dimensions. And you will also have spaceships with super technologies. But you can also use swords as laser systems or plasma weapons close combat, and the armor will be able to protect you. In our world, all this is used at the same time. So you divide the same thing into completely different camps. Angels and friendly aliens. Only this does not correspond to reality. And now, I would like to tell you about the social structure of our civilizations. Let's immediately skip the social structure of Sirius civilizations living in the third dimension. They have everything the same as you. Someone has a tough tsarism, someone then a false democracy, someone has an unjust republic, and the like. And whatever form it may be, all regimes of power are dark and vicious. Here I will not reveal anything new to you, but power in the higher dimensions of Sirius will be of interest. And I want not only to amuse your curiosity, but to give you guidelines on how to organize your society so that it is bright and joyful. Use our experience in the state system, because this is essentially the experience of heaven, and applying it, you will aspire all of humanity to God and a blissful life, and therefore, its ascension to a higher dimension. I myself am the elder of my star. I am in the seventh dimension, where souls live in the status of gods. Elder in modern language. This is, let's say, a minister, and I am in charge not of one civilization in any dimension of Sirius, but of all civilizations of all dimensions of my star on an equal basis with other elders. Therefore, I have a great managerial experience. This allows me to describe our society and its mechanisms in the best possible way. We have a true democracy flourishing in the higher worlds. This is a standard mechanism in the universe, which began its spread from Father and Mother Absolute. We only copy this template, and it turns out to be the most effective. There are many forms of statehood in humanity, and all these forms are an exaggeration and inflating of individual fragments of the true democracy of heaven. That is, in our power there is tsarism, and a republic, and a constitutional monarchy, everything in general. Of course, there are no such dark forms of power, and it is dictatorship or fascism. I'm talking about neutral forms. Without the initial injection of negativity. We have the King of Sirius. He, like me, is from the seventh dimension. He is one of the most advanced Sirians. We appreciate him, love him, believe him. Together with him, Sirius prospers. But how did he become king? He was born in the royal dynasty. Not at all. For starters, we don't have such dynasties at all. And, secondly, the Tsar is elected democratically. But this is not the false democracy that you have. All the people elect your president. And in our country, the elders among the elders choose the king. That is, I and the other elders of Sirius chose among themselves the best candidate for the position of the commander-in-chief of our community of civilizations. When voting, you certainly cannot choose yourself, but you can. Professionals of service choose another best professional. Moreover, each elder knows each other well, like close and kindred. We know how developed one of the elders. We see all the ins and outs, and therefore it is easier for us to choose more objectively than you blindly choose your president. After all, you, as a people, cannot know him personally. You don't know him. You haven't felt all the facets of his personality and energy. This is what causes the fact that people often choose not the best of the best for president, but simply a more popular, more hype candidate who promises the most beautifully, but does not. This is far from objectivity. But we know our candidates inside and out, and we know them, first of all, by deeds, and not by loud statements. You can deceive us anymore. So such a democracy is more thoughtful and fair. But this is the top of our democracy. That's just where its foundation and beginning. Of course, it is among the most ordinary Sirians of higher dimensions. They also choose the best representative among their commune. This representative represents the interests of his commune in a council of elders at the level of an already larger commune, say, a small town. All the elders who were elected by ordinary Sirians in neighboring communes included in the territory of this small town act on this council. Next, the elders of the small town choose the best of the best among their own, that he should be an elder in the council of an already large city, which includes the aforementioned small town. There he represents the interests of his small city, but at the same time, he, of course, is interested in the prosperity of everyone and everything. Elders of all levels represent the interests not only one particular community in Sirius, but in general the interests of all things. They have a preponderance in serving everyone, and not sometimes to a separate town or commune. But since the politics of a big city affects the life and politics of all the small towns that make up it, then there is such a representation of the interests of individual subjects. This is how harmony is built when no one is infringed on the rights for at the expense of the growth of others. This is a protective mechanism in our societies, designed to prevent various distortions. And so, if an elder also represents the interests of the council of elders that elected him to such a high position, then he will, if necessary, defend the rights of that territory for which the council that elected him is responsible. And this is how democracy grows from the bottom, when professionals choose professionals. There are no blind elections. I was elected to the elder of Sirius. Before that, I was the elder of one of the planets. Our star, one might say, was a member of the world government. And then I was chosen among my own as the best candidate for representation in the entire space Rias. And, as you can see, in the system there is only one king, the king of all Sirius, who holds the general vector of development of our community of civilizations. We have no governors, no presidents of countries, no kings of entire planets. In fact, I could theoretically make one of the planets of Sirius king, but they didn't. Why? It would increase the division in our star system. I would not just be an advisor in one of the councils, but would be an autonomous unit with a large list of powers. And my policy could be contrary to the policy of the kings of other planets, the council of elders of the stellar level and our stellar king. Although there are such light civilizations in which a star-level advisor is also concurrently and the king of one of the planets of a star system, this is their choice. We do not claim that we do it correctly and better. It's just that we personally, the combination of such powers does not occur. This does not suit us personally. This is how the democracy common to the universe can have slightly different forms in different civilizations. There are also differences in the levels of authority of elders and individual kings. Somewhere more power belongs to the council of elders, somewhere to the kings, although the latter also play the role of elders. But the main thing in this system remains unchanged: the best choose the best. The elders elect the elders. Our King Sirius has many powers, and this is a kind of balancing beginning so that each elder does not pull only on himself. This balances the fact that we do not have kings of the planets who would guide their inhabitants along a single general line of development. After all, extreme democracy is chaos. This is a swan, a pike and a cancer. And that's why I told you, in our power, democracy and Sirism are combined organically. This creates a balance. There is no dictatorship, the power of one person, and there is no anarchy, when everyone shouts about and nothing moves off the ground. This is how our society is arranged, although I have not expressed all the details here, since society is an extremely multidimensional structure, especially for societies of higher dimensions. But this will be enough for you for now to rethink your human civilization. Good to you and a loving society. Be wise and reasonable. Call us. We are Sirius.